So last time we started a new project. To keep in line with the theme of dumb builds we have in this world, we started to build the longest factory in Satisfactory. The whole point of this was to build the next 3 things that we needed for the space elevator phase 3. So far we hadn't even finished the modular engines yet. Last episode we just built everything required to make the motors. So this time we have to finish everything else with modular engines and then also make our adaptive control units. The first stage of the plan is getting the smart plating all made. This needs 2 things. This needs our reinforced plates and then some rotors. Rotors are nice and easy because we made those when we were making our motors. That's just a case of splitting them over. But for our smart plating we need to make plates and screws. I think it'd be nice if we started off with our constructors stacked vertically, so let's do that first. Okay, and now we have another constructor. So this constructor is going to be making our iron rods, and then this one up here is going to be making our iron plates. What am I standing on, by the way? I'm standing on this, right? Okay. So that's what these 2 constructors do, but of course for the rods we need to turn those into screws, and that means that we're going to need another stack of 2 constructors. So we put those here, why not? Right, and these 2 constructors are going to be used to make the screws from the rods from this one. So now all the constructors were in place, the only thing that was left to do was to wire everything together, which used a lot of those tactics that we discovered last time, where we used those stackable conveyor poles to kind of spin the conveyor around. This is so we can gain height without ever leaving the line. Can this just go straight into there? It can. Cool. Right, and that's our plates made. So that's our plates. This one down here is our rods. Cool, now we have to take these rods on the other side of this and put them into these screws. Doing the screws was effectively the same process again, but just adding a little splitter into the left hand side there. I'll keep it to the left just so it gives us more space to wiggle things around. So what we have going is this one, right? It comes down, we did all the looping around part, and then it comes over to here. There's this thing here which kind of stands. Then I use the conveyor wall mount to put that there, and that feeds directly into our void of dark nothingness. Jesus Christ, right, okay. Right, that's screws. And now with the base components finished, we could start to assemble our reinforced plates. Wiring these up was pretty much using the same things we've used before, just instead of going up, we're going down this time. So you know what, that was really smooth, that happened really quickly. It's essentially a loop, it gets really messy at the bottom, but it loops around, does a 270 on itself and then just goes straight in. Cool, now this is supposed to make reinforced plates. Sick, good stuff. Now, we have to make smart plates. Remember, we have to send these plates to school, get them educated, send them to university, and then we get smart plates at the end. And to do that, all we had to do was connect our reinforced plating in and add some rotors in. I don't know how rotors equal education, but I mean, it's easy enough, so I don't mind. So the way of this going on, right, is this comes down, it just rests on the platform that you already made, goes through the machine because physics doesn't exist, and then goes through its other machine, and then curls around and goes down. But that's it. That's our smart plating made. Now let's see how big this manufacturer is, because it's not small, and I don't know if it'll fit. Yeah, it doesn't actually fit on our platform. So this will be a fun thing. So I guess we just add another one either side. Maybe 2. Okay, cool, it does fit. Right, nice. Now, of course, challenge is more important, so we cannot go past our line. So I'm just going to demolish this and make the manufacturer levitate. Because, again, we clearly don't care about physics, so, you know. So here we want to make our modular engine. And now that all of the little base components have been completed, the only thing left to do was to bring it all together. Smart plating was nice and easy since it was just next door, and then we could start looking at the rubber. So now we finally have a use for all of these giant rubber stores that we've been building up. These 6 right here are just for rubber. Instead of merging these 2 mergers together to make one ultimate conveyor of rubber, I decided to leave them separate just because I don't know what else we might need rubber for, but if we do, it'd be nice to have something that's easily accessible for it. Bringing the rubber onto the line was not that difficult, it was just using the support system that we'd already set up last time, just kind of extending it down a bit, making sure the rubber can come up over nice and easily, and that wasn't too hard to get installed. The motors though were a slightly different story. Just because they were directly behind where we needed to send it, we couldn't really use a support system that we had set up, so we kind of had to Jenga it to go around our constructors and assemblers we'd already made up, but you know, somehow we managed, using a mixture of wall mounts, our conveyor stackable poles and other things, we got it over. And that's modular engines. I mean, it's only making 1 a minute, by the way. Right, okay, so that's modular engines done. Now we need to make our adaptive control unit. Okay, right. So this one is painful. Right, let's start from the bottom and go up then. Computers, what do we need for computers? Please tell me we have everything ready. Okay, circuit boards, cables, and plastic. Now, how do we make our circuit boards? Please just don't be quartz, because I don't have any quartz. Okay, it's fine, it's copper. More copper and plastic. You know what? That's very doable. Okay, this looks quite good. Right then, let's get that going. Right, now for the plastic. Plastic we get from just down here, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then copper, I think I'm just going to leech off this line here and just pull it down again. Because again, the aim of this isn't to make it perfectly mathematically correct, it's just has something that works. But anyways, okay, let's bring the plastic down real quick. Since the plastic is already right here, it's not too hard to bring it down alongside it. I reckon I just reuse whatever we have going for the rubber. The conveyor belts we have going for the rubber, just stack it on top. And then call that a day. Right, okay, so I think that's come far enough along now. We're just in front of the manufacturer up there. So I think what we can do now is if we just put a little conveyor lift, send it out there, and then pop it around that way. And you can come out like, and then you can come out there. That's alright, okay. So, what was in this manufacturer again? This is where we get our modular engines, which we've already made 50 of. Look at that, I've been faffing around with all this stuff for that long. Okay, now, I've completely forgotten what we're doing. What are we doing again? Circuit boards, right, circuit boards, plastic and copper sheets. We have the plastic, now we just need the copper sheet. Bringing the copper down for the copper sheets was nice and easy. Because we set up a splitter originally when we brought it out of the train station, we could just use one of the lines of the splitter and just carry it down on top of the plastic, bring it to where we need to go and just send it up next to it. And since the recipe for copper sheets is just copper ingots into copper sheets, we didn't have to do any other intermediary steps, it was just take the ingots, put them straight into the constructor. So that got that knocked out pretty quickly. And now what we need to do is set up an assembler right around here that's going to make our circuit boards. And then this can simply just go across into there. Again, doesn't look good, but like this project never did, so who cares? And that circuit board's done, look at that, look, progress guys, progress already. So if we set up on a manufacturer right, did they update the game? I feel like they've updated the game. Was that what it looked like before? I don't think, surely that wasn't what it looked like before. Was it? Am I just that blind? Oh god, I hope I'm not at least. Well, regardless if they have or haven't, let's see how we go with computers. That circuit board's made. Cable, easy to make. And then plastic, we have it coming down already. So setting up the cable production was a little bit more interesting than the copper sheets just because it's a two-stage process. The way I did it this time is just took a splitter off the copper we'd already brought down, send that up, and then put a stack of two constructors with the bottom one making our wires and the top one making our cables. So what we did is we just wrapped the wires around the constructor so we can send them straight up to the top to make our cables, alongside some of the laddering that we love by now. Okay, so now with cables made, let's see what else we need to make the computer. So circuit boards which were made, cables which we've also made, and plastic which we're just getting from down there. Oh, perfect! That's one more thing done. Now, what else did we need? Because I know that there's a lot of other things that we need. So that's computers. We have our circuit boards already made. So now let's start working on our heavy modular frames. Oh, I'm just looking at what we need. Oh god, okay then. Well, for the steel, since we used steel earlier to make our stators, we already have the steel production set up and brought over. So currently we're just making these steel pipes, so we could probably just split off of these and take our steel pipes all the way down. But the main resource that we're going to have to manage is iron, because we have to make a lot of things with that iron. So I guess we should get some new iron pulled over then. Right, okay, so now we have a new stream of iron being brought over. It's just split off of our main iron transport system. So what I think I'm going to do, just to make this one a bit different, is I'm just going to have a massive tool stack of everything to do with iron. And in front of it I'm going to put assemblers that do stuff with everything that that little long tower makes. And that's exactly what I did. The way I set up the constructors is the bottom one makes the rods, the middle one for screws, and the top one the plates. Wiring everything up was quite interesting just because of how much there was, but we got it done. Oh, that looks lovely. That's a great sky. Oh, cool. Anyways, okay, so the way that this works, this lovely, beautiful looking mess, is we have our iron coming up from the bottom. I'm stuck. I don't like this. Oh man. So I found out something last time, or someone in the comments rather, told me that there's a free cam in this game naturally. If I press P and I press R, oh my god. Look at that. There's a free cam. Oh, that's so helpful. And then T, hide UI. Oh my god, it's so cool! Now I can explain things so much easier. Right, okay, so we have our iron coming in, all the way down, it goes up, 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 goes into our iron rods nice and easily. Then it comes out the splitter and does many loop-de-loops with me standing in the middle, It does main loop-the-loops and goes up and into our plates. Then from our iron rods at the bottom, that comes around, goes to there, and then it comes up and... Wait, your free cam gets stuck in things? Okay, alright, well then it goes up and then it goes around again, and then, I don't know, it's a bit of a maze, this part, but it's fine, okay, it's amazing, we love it. And that is all of our iron production made, I think. Maybe, I hope so, maybe. Could just be. Okay, so we have screws coming, we have rods coming, and then we also have plates. So now it's just a case of putting this stuff together in weird and wonderful ways, isn't it? So we're also going to make a retroactive change to you, where we put a splitter. Okay, so we're going to give ourselves 2 lots of working room, and then we're going to put our 2 assemblers down here. One assembler for our reinforced plating, and then another assembler to make our modular plates from the reinforced plating.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so this is the setup that we're using to connect both of these assemblers in properly. So, again, photo mode, great, cool. So here we have our 3 constructors. So our screws come down from here, go into a splitter, they go spinny, spin into there. Plates come out into a splitter, spinny, spin, down into that, and that makes our reinforced iron plates. That gets fed around, and then goes for a spinny, spin itself, goes all the way over here, and then it goes up into this one, and our rods also come up into this one right here. And that makes our modular frames. Now, what was the next thing we needed to make? Okay, so for the encased industrial beams, we need the steel plates. I don't know what they're called. They're called steel beams, because they don't look like beams at all. I have no clue how that. Whatever, it's fine. So we need the steel beams, and we also need concrete. Right. I think that if I'm not mistaken, I was smart. Yeah, I know it's a rare thing. Don't worry about it. I'm also surprised. But I think that I was smart, and I left a space rather in the train all the way up there for the concrete. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm hoping I did at least. Okay, I did think ahead when I first made this thing, and I left a spare platform because I had a feeling I'd need it, and I was right, I do. This is what we're going to use for the limestone. So the limestone I think is pretty nearby. I'm seeing it like 100 meters this way. Oh look, a rock. That's a cool rock, that's like Pride Rock. I'm going to leave that one there. That looks like it's important, I don't want to mess with that. This is a pure node, so how much are we going to make? We're going to make 240 per minute, more than what we need. Now all we have to do is take this limestone and plop it into our train, right? Oh? That's not supposed to be like that, is it? I don't think so. Okay, whatever. And that has our limestone over here. So now we just have to bring it over to the line, which means doing the same things we have done for all these other ones. Creating a line, bringing it around, carrying it over the top till the very end. Plop. So now with the limestone brought over, we can start working on our encased industrial beams. So for the steel beams and concrete, I want to steal from what we did back there and build it in line. So we have a constructor here. This is going to be for our concrete, and then this here is going to be our second constructor. That's about right. Cool. And now with our limestone brought up, that was concrete all finished. Now we could turn our eyes back to the steel beams. For that, it was going to be another case of splitting off the production down there and then bringing it up alongside the line. But as I started to go down, I realised the true scale of this project and how big this was going to turn out to be, and how almost impressive it was going to look when it was all done. But yeah, bringing up the steel was essentially copying what we had done for every other material so far. And pulling it into the machine was as simple as doing some snaking, the same old snaking that we always love. But in that, we had steel beam production all complete. And then all we had to do was add in our assembler and wire it up. Wow, we're missing steel beams, but luckily, very luckily, look what we have made up here. Steel beams! You just grab, oh, they're over here now. Okay, and that is the assembler all set up for the, what they called, reinforced concrete? I don't know. Steely concrete. That's steely concrete done. I like how you can just see me standing here. Look at me admiring my work. Okay. It's the same thing as always. Our concrete can just kind of flow in normally, and then our steel just takes a very loopy route to get in at the end. But yeah, that's all that is, and this is now making our encased industrial beams, which is exactly what we wanted. Now, what comes next? What were we building this for again? I've completely forgotten. Wasn't it for like something really cool?
Really?
We've done the computers, we're working on the heavy modular frames. Right, this is what we needed it for then. So that should be, I think, everything that we need all made. So we just have to put the manufacturer in now. And that's exactly what I did. I brought over the steely beams nice and easily. The modular frames came up and over the entire steely beam production. Screws came in and out and snaked through everything but ended up where we needed to get them. And then the steel tubes, we just split them off and then brought some more down. I'm sure it'll be fine. But with that, we had our reinforced modular frames fully complete. Yes, everything's going up. Okay, alright. Well, that's something. See, I knew what I was doing. Look at that. Perfect. I've got it all done out. That's modular frames all done. So we have big fat modular frames. We have big fat computers all made. What's the last thing we have to do? I think it's just building up our automated wiring, isn't it? And that's an assembler item. Guys, we're at the end. Oh my god, yes. And yes. I was now really motivated seeing how close we were to the end of this project, so when we started on the next stage, which was making more wires and cables, I decided to make a 3-high construct column with the top and bottom being wires and the middle being cables. Okay, so that one was actually a really tricky build. I know we did a similar thing like not that long ago, but the difference here is that we only have half a block to really work with, whereas normally we get a full foundation length. Again, I could have moved everything, but I didn't think of it, so I didn't. So here's what happens, right? So we have our copper coming up. There's one line that gets easily split off to make some wires at the bottom. The next problem was getting those wires up there to the very top. And the way that we do that is it comes around, does a lot of loops, lands on top of the manufacturer. We have time for a sick pose. And then it goes around the constructor just to get that last bit of height, which I then immediately lose because I wasn't watching what was happening. Then it goes into the constructor. The last little bit was getting the wire from down here to go up into the cable, which is over here. And that was just a case of, routing it around using the infrastructure we'd already set up on this side. Wow, that was a project. But anyways, for the last little batch of assemblers, we're going to do them stacked on top of each other as we always have. Oh yeah, of course, I forgot assemblers need 2 space because they're special. They had some of that special juice when they were growing up. Manufacturers were given something a bit stronger, just a little bit stronger. But yeah, okay, so now you are going to be our stators, and this is going to get fed up into the final piece of the puzzle, our automated wiring. You know what, I don't think I thought this through. The wire I'm using for this cable machine is one at the bottom, and the wire I'm using for that assembler is at the top. I feel like my logic got a bit muddled somewhere, but you know what, it's okay, it's fine, we know how to deal with this, and we do indeed know how to deal with this stuff. This is just more of those conveyor stackable poles we have loved the entire time, spinning stuff around, bringing it down, and then for the steel pipes, the same thing we did last time, splitting it off. I know that means that I don't have a lot of steel pipes coming through, but I'm sure that won't be a problem later, right? Why? That's not what I wanted. And with that, our stators are done. Now all we have to do is bring the stators up to our automated wiring. Automated wiring complete. And now we're ready to put down the final manufacturer, the culmination of everything we've done so far, the manufacturer for the adaptive control units. The automated wiring came down easily. The circuit boards were just split off and then brought down as per normal. The heavy modular frames came straight out their manufacturer and came alongside everything else to come down. And then the last thing, the computers, the exact same thing. Taken out of the manufacturer and brought straight down. Now that makes our adaptive control units, and with a little bit of power, look at that, it's being constructed. God man, that feels amazing. Okay, now it's the last little bit of the project. We just need to put them in storage boxes. Let's do industrial size storage boxes that can be placed right next to another. Let's do normal size storage boxes that can be placed on top of each other. The adaptive control units are really easy to bring across because they were, right there. The modular engines were nothing special either. They were just a single conveyor belt running most of the length of the line to the very end, the last one that we'd have to do. I like how I never learned from my mistakes as well. It was like, oh no, I can't place things on top of assemblers. What should I do? I guess place more things on top of assemblers so I can never expand my system for some stupid reason. Oh well. I don't know, man. I didn't think things through clearly when I was doing this. I just kind of did it and was like, I'm sure it'll work, it's fine. And it does work, but like, those inefficiencies are really starting to show up. And it's been operational for like 3 minutes, you know, so it's not a great sign really. And there we are. And that is the line completed. So I guess now we just have to wait, because I could make things more efficient, but come on, what do I look like? Some kind of smart person? Nah, we're not doing that. Alright, okay, so it's been about a night of AFKing. I just sit around waiting for this stuff to be made because, as I mentioned previously, this is not efficient. But we have everything we need. That's 500 modular engines, and then down here we have over 100 of those adaptive control units. So I guess now all that's left is just to bring them over to our massive space elevator and then get the next stage going. Okay, now we can just deposit all of these in. And then for the last little piece of the puzzle, the versatile frameworks, we already have these being made right around when we made Terry. So those are already good to go. Now we just have to bring them over. Okay, that's 600, 1,200, 1,800, 2,436, and there we go. Oh, that's all of it done. Space Elevator Phase 3 completed. Now let's just send it off. Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer Progress presentation. Congratulations, the Phase 3 project part shipment is finally ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 3 will be completed and the main body will be constructed. You should know how this works by now. You'll get access to tiers 7 and 8 in the hub.
Aerial transportation!
In fact, perhaps you should just go look at the technologies there yourself.
Yeah, I know, I will.
It's all laid out so that even a monkey could understand it, so you should have no issues. Speaking of which, I don't think you need a reminder about project parts. Instead, I will be providing some interesting facts.
I'll take these.
Did you know the average pioneer succeeds at saving the day? Did you know the average pioneer knows how to optimize pipe throughput?
Yeah, I don't.
Did you know the average pioneer stays late at work because they care about humanity?
I don't think there's an option here, but okay.
You might want to know more about your peers. Good luck in Phase 4.
Let's get going now. Yeah.
Phase 3 of Project Assembly completed. FICSIT's predictions indicate pioneers should generally reach this point faster with above average results, but we should all adjust our expectations according to the situation. It is understandable. The pressure and complexity will only increase from here, so be sure to take on Phase 4 with efficiency and competence.
I think we threw efficiency out the window a long time ago. But man, that looks cool. That's really cool. That was worth it. That was so worth it. Definitely worth it. Right, what's next then? What's next one we have to do? I have no clue what any of these are. What is that? Okay. Tier 7. Hover pack. We need that. That needs to be done, but we need aluminium for that. Or, yeah, aluminium. Which we need bauxite. Oh my god. Wait, there's logistics. Did we ever get logistics Mark 4? No, we just missed out on the logistics Mark. I guess we just skipped the upgrade then. Aeronautical engineering drones. We can get drones. Oh my god. Nuclear power as well. That's going to be a big one. And with that, we had successfully built a factory in a singular line in Satisfactory and completed the Phase 3 of the space elevator. This project was incredibly fun, and all the weird and unique challenges that we came across, it was amazing, and also the weird other stuff we got to do along the way, like setting up trains and this weird little area we made down here to make all the other requisites. It was great fun, and I guess now the only thing that's left is to move on to the next project. You know, I completely forgot we'd put a ladder here at the very beginning. This seems so pointless now that it's all been finished.